Hey guys, welcome to Study IQ. First of all, let me admit two things. First of all, I had no idea that the geography videos will get such a huge response. Secondly, I certainly did not expect so many people will ask me to make an English version of these videos. Because of popular demand, here I am. I will make the English version of all the geography videos and the other videos I have made thus far. I hope you guys know what my name is. It's Prashant Dhawan, and let's start. So what exactly will we be learning in this video? First of all, I will tell you what is the difference between Nordic and Scandinavian countries. A lot of times when I talk about Nordic countries and Scandinavian countries in various videos, people tend to ask, "Sir, can you explain what is the difference between the two?" So over here, all the doubts will be cleared. And we will also talk about these countries, what are they known for, why are they famous, and then we will also discuss why do these Nordic and Scandinavian countries rank so high in the Human Development Index and World Happiness Report, what is their secret, and then we will also talk about the Arctic Council, it's quite important. Now before studying from a map, which I know most of you want, let's just understand some basics, then we will move on to the map. When we talk about Scandinavia, we are basically talking about three countries. It is that simple. When I say Scandinavia, we are just talking about three countries. Those three countries are Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. Now, the interesting thing is when we talk about Nordic countries are a combination of Scandinavian countries and some other countries. So we can say that Scandinavian countries are a subset of Nordic countries. So when we are talking about Nordic countries, we are talking about Denmark, Norway, Sweden, the Scandinavian countries, and then additionally, when the term Nordic is used, we are talking about the Scandinavian countries plus Finland, Iceland, and some associated territories like Greenland, Faroe Islands, and all islands. These two aren't all that important. You should just know about Greenland. Now let's look at the map over here. Over here you can see India, right? And if we go to the northwestern side over here, you will see Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Turkey, and then you will see the European nations. Now, if we keep on going north, you can see these three countries over here, right? Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. These three countries are the Scandinavian countries, alright? But when we are talking about Nordic countries, then we are talking about Greenland, which is over here, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland. Now, another question that can be asked is Greenland an independent country? No, it isn't. It is basically an autonomous region of Denmark. Other than that, you can also be asked that which of the Scandinavian countries share a coastal line with the Baltic Sea. Now over here you can see these three countries, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. These countries are called the Baltic countries. I have made a video in the Hindi language on these three countries and the Balkan nations. I will translate that as well. So over here you can see this is the Baltic Sea. That is why these countries are called the Baltic countries. So Sweden has a coastal line with the Baltic Sea. And then over here between Sweden and Finland there is the Gulf of Bothnia. Alright, this can also be asked in various exams. Where is the Gulf of Bothnia? Your answer will be between Sweden and Finland. And then we have the North Sea over here. So this is a basic idea of where the Scandinavian countries are located and where the Nordic countries are located. Now I think we will do ourselves a huge favor if we discuss all these countries one by one. Let's talk about Denmark. The capital of Denmark is Copenhagen. The official language that is spoken over here is Danish, and the currency of Denmark is krone, Krone. Now it is called crown in English, but in Danish it is called krone, Krone. My writing is really bad because my pen doesn't really work all that well. So look, you need to understand one thing. These three Scandinavian countries, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, all these countries share a same currency basically, the crown, alright, but it has different names in their respective native language. In Denmark, the Danish crown is called Krone. In Sweden, it is called krona. Krona. This is the Swedish currency, krona. So basically, all these currencies they mean crown in English. So I find it much easier to memorize it like this because I really doubt that the examiner will ask you something like this. Is the Danish currency krona or krone? I don't think they will ask something like this. So it's a bit easier to remember it that way. Then, of course, Denmark, as we just saw in the map, is the most southerly of all Nordic countries. Now, Denmark does have a queen and it is a constitutional monarchy, but the queen Margrethe II or whatever her name is, however it is pronounced, she doesn't really have any political power. Alright, the parliament has all the power. And is Denmark a member of the European Union? Yes, it is, but it has retained its currency, the crown, as we will call it in English, or in Danish, it is called Krone, as I just told you a million times. So, is Denmark a member of NATO? Now, these are the important points. I don't think that whether a country is a member of European Union is that important or not, but it certainly can be asked whether that country is a member of NATO. So Denmark is a proud member of NATO. And another very interesting facts for you guys, the Denmark national flag, this one over here, is often called the oldest used national flag in the world. So this is the oldest used national flag in the world. It has been used since perhaps the 13th or 14th century. It's very, very old. Now we will talk about the land of the thousand lakes, Finland. Now the capital of Finland is Helsinki and the currency of Finland is euro. So as I told you, it is also called the land of the thousand lakes because it has a lot of inland lakes and rivers and they make about 10% of the country. The population of all the Nordic countries is very low. Finland has a very small population of 5.5 million and around a million of these people live around the capital city that we just talked about. Now another question that can be asked is Finland a member of European Union? Of course it is, but it is not just a member of the European Union, it also uses the euro as a currency. So this is a very important point. This is the most interesting point. I think this question can be asked in any exam. Is Finland a member of NATO? No, it isn't. Now there are various geopolitical reasons behind it. Finland does not want to anger Russia because Finland is geographically very close to Russia, and it certainly does not want to anger the Russian bear because if it joins NATO, NATO will get a very big edge over the Russians in any future military conflict. However, when Russia annexed the Crimean Peninsula of Ukraine, Finland did warn Russia that if it continues its aggressive behavior and keeps grabbing land of other countries, it will eventually join NATO. Then we have Iceland. Iceland is a very famous country in the Nordic region. It attracts a lot of tourists. Now some of you might be asking, just look at the name, Iceland, how can it attract tourists? I think a place like Greenland, that sounds so green, that should probably attract more tourists. Well, it is the opposite. Although the name suggests that Greenland must be a place full of greenery, it is actually a wasteland. It has a ridiculous amount of snowfall every year and it is very cold and has very bad infrastructure because of course it is very difficult to construct anything in that country. So Iceland, contrary to its name, is actually a relatively warmer place than Greenland and it's quite beautiful. It has good infrastructure and a lot of people visit this beautiful country every single year. The population is still relatively low. It has just 320,000 inhabitants and more than half of the population live around the capital city, Reykjavik. Now you might be asking, sir, it is Reykjavik, isn't it? I see J over here, I don't see Ya. Well, let me tell you another very interesting fact. In these Nordic Scandinavian countries, whenever you see this written, now over here in India we will pronounce this as Ja, but in Nordic countries these guys pronounce Ja as Ya. So Ya over there means yes. So when they have to write yes, They write JA, so it's a funny language. That's why we won't really pronounce this as Reykjavik. We will pronounce this Reykjavik. And Iceland is not a member of the European Union but has taken part in the European Economic Cooperation through EEA agreement. And is Iceland a member of NATO? Yes, Iceland is a member of the NATO. All right. And the currency is Icelandic crown, or in the native language they will call it krona. Krona. Icelandic krona. Then we have Norway. Norway is a relatively oil rich country and has a lot of mountains. The population is around 5.2 million. Not a lot of people live over here, and most of the people live around the capital city, that is Oslo. Alright. Norway too is a constitutional monarchy. King Harald V wields no real political power. The parliament over there has all the power. Now, even though Norway is not a member of the European Union, Norway is part of the European Economic Area, alright, and is a member of NATO. So, Norway is a member of NATO. And the currency of Norway is Norwegian kroner or kron. It is called, sometimes it is called kroner, sometimes it is called kron. Both of these words mean the same thing that I have told you many times in this video, crown. Now we are going to talk about Sweden, a very beautiful country. Now, as I told you earlier, these Nordic countries don't have a lot of population because of the weather, and there are other factors as well. Historically, they don't really tend to have a lot of children over there, and now that they have reached the zenith of their economic prowess, they are very economically, they are very well off countries. They have free healthcare, they have all other facilities, so people tend to focus more on the quality of life rather than just having a big family. So there are various reasons, various socio-economic reasons behind the low population of the Nordic countries. But Sweden does have the biggest population of all the Nordic regions. Although it is written 9.5 million over here, but right now the population of Sweden is more than 10 million. Alright, so this is probably the first and the only Nordic country that has crossed the 10 million mark, and I think it will remain so for a very long time. And the capital of Sweden is Stockholm, a very beautiful city. Now, Sweden too is a constitutional monarchy. King Carl Gustav reigns over here but has absolutely no political power. The parliament has all the political power. Is Sweden a member of the European Union? Yes, it is. Sweden is a member of the European Union, but it has retained its currency, which is crown, but in Swedish they call it krona. Krona, krona. Alright, so I just find it much easier to just call it crown, because I think whenever you will see a question about the currencies of Nordic countries, you will probably have an option that resembles the word crown, because krona, crown, it sounds similar, so it will be a very good indicator. So anyway, is Sweden a member of NATO? No, it is not a member of NATO. Then we have Greenland. Greenland is an autonomous region of Denmark. As I told you earlier, it is not really an independent sovereign country. It has a very small population of just 57,000 inhabitants. The government over there has taken various initiatives to actually increase the population in Greenland, but so far they have not been successful, because why would anyone want to move to Greenland? It's just ridiculously cold over there. The capital of Greenland is Nuuk, and as I told you, it is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. It has, although, achieved greater degree of self-governance, but still most of its main decisions regarding foreign policy and security and foreign exchange is taken by the government of Denmark. Now, these Nordic countries are also among the happiest countries in the world. Now, if we look at the 10 happiest countries in the world, the 2007 list, then you will see Norway is right at the top. Then you see Denmark, again Iceland. The top 3 positions are dominated by the Nordic countries. Then you have Finland, and then again on number 10 you have Sweden. So it's quite remarkable. What's the secret? Why are these Nordic countries so happy? Well, the answer is very simple: social security. it has been researched in a lot of countries that social security leads to happiness when people are sure about their future. Now, when I say social security, I'm talking about the security to have a job. People in these countries don't have to worry all that much about having a job. And there is a minimum wage rule as well, that a person cannot be paid less than the minimum wage of the country. So that is quite helpful. So even if you manage to get a very bad job, you will probably get paid enough that you can live a decent life. Other than that, education is free over here, healthcare is free. You do have to pay very high taxes, but again, only the rich 1% of the countries have to pay very high taxes, not the middle class or the lower middle class. Other than that, these countries don't really have a very huge population. So unlike in India, where we have the problem of plenty, a lot of people tend to refer to this as the demographic dividend. But now people are actually seeing that if our population is not skilled, then this demographic dividend can actually work against the country and can cause a lot of unhappiness. So one of the reasons India is not all that happy is because India lacks social security, which these countries have. Now, when we look at the Human Development Index over here as well, you can see Norway is right at the top, and other Nordic countries are around the list as well. They rank very high in terms of Human Development Index. So this again, it gives you a picture of how developed these countries are and what is the secret of their development: social security. And they haven't really emphasized too much on capitalism, or so to say socialism. They have found their own way, and that I think is one thing that every country needs to do. Now let's talk about the Arctic Council as well. While we are at it, it's quite important when we are talking about Nordic countries. Now look, this is our Earth. This is what it's supposed to look like. Thank God I wasn't really given the job to create Earth, otherwise the shape would have been awful. Anyway, so if you look at the northern part over here you will see the North Pole, and this is the South Pole, because obviously this is in the north and this is in the south. In the North Pole we have the Arctic, and in the South Pole over here we have Antarctica. So the Arctic Council is about the Arctic zone over here. So the Arctic Council was founded on the initiative of the government of Finland in September 1989, where officials from 8 Arctic countries met in this country. It's in Finland. I'm not going to pronounce it. And the idea was to make sure that there is cooperation between the countries when it comes to protecting the Arctic environment. Now, when I talk about Arctic environment, I'm talking about the species that live over there, the various kind of birds, animals that live over there, and of course the Arctic region as a whole. It shouldn't start melting. And through this collaboration, the Arctic Council created with the signing of the Ottawa Declaration on September 1996. Now, this Ottawa Declaration, this is quite important. According to this declaration, only the countries that have a border with the Arctic zone can join the Arctic Council. I will show you in a map soon. So the chairmanship of the council rotates every 2 years. The current chair is with Finland. This can be asked in your examinations. And Finland will serve till 2019. Now over here you can see this is the Arctic Circle. Now we will just have a look at all the countries that have a border near it or inside it. So you can see that United States of America. Now this is Alaska. This is a part of United States of America. US mainland is over here. This is Canada. Canada, of course, has a very major part of its country in the Arctic Circle. So obviously it is a member of the Arctic Council over here, Canada. But you can see since Alaska too has a border in the Arctic Council, so United States of America is a member of the Arctic Council as well. Then Russia, as you can see, has a very huge part of its country in the Arctic Council, so the Arctic Circle, so it is part of the Arctic Council. Then over here you can see Sweden and Norway, so Sweden and Norway as well. Iceland, of course, it has some part of it, so Iceland. And then you will see Finland as well, so Finland. and then Greenland. Now Greenland, as I told you, it is an autonomous region of Denmark. Now Denmark is over here. All right. So since Denmark is over here, you might be asking, how is Denmark a member of the Arctic Council? It is because of Greenland. All right. So you should probably remember the names of the members of the Arctic Council. It's quite important. And the Arctic Council was in the news a lot because of global warming, the climate change. Since the global average temperature is rising, so one of the first, the biggest impact that will be seen is around the Arctic zone. The Arctic cap will start to melt, and this will result in the rise of the ocean levels. So that is why the Arctic Council is quite important. It's important for all these countries to work together, and India has an observer status in the Arctic Council, and so does China. Now, the major focus areas of the Arctic Council are the environment and climate change, as I just mentioned, biodiversity, oceans, and the indigenous people of Arctic region. All right. So these are the main focus areas, and this is also the end of the video, and I hope you liked it. I will bring more English videos for all of you guys from the northeast part of India and the southern part of India. I think even in northern part of India, some people do like to listen to the videos in English. So we will try to make all of you guys happy. All you need to do is share our videos, because it helps when your videos do get views. The Hindi videos, they usually get a ridiculous amount of views. The English videos, not so much. So it will just help if you just share the video with your friends. Perhaps that will help the cause. And I wish you luck for your future examinations. God bless you all.